Hello.
We're back. This week, it's a little special because we finally got someone on Toronto Talent with Tom and Till, who we've wanted on for a while.
Yes.
I want to introduce the one, the only, Claudio from CMR Outlaw.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. Like I said before, we wanted to have you on for a while.
Like sadly, mid-November, yeah.
Yeah, sadly, things didn't work out the last time. For whatever reason, not important. But this time you're finally on. Hooray, us.
Yay.
It's awesome. Yeah. I'm so excited.
So, Claudio, I just want to get a little bit into, because we haven't talked too much. We talked a little bit before this, but I want to know who you are, where you came from, and why you've developed your life and your music, your passion to this genre and this type of art. So, who are you?
Well, Claudio. I grew up in because my music's based on a lot of rebellion country, and I grew up in Vineland, which is just near Niagara. It's a really country. There's no store for about 30 minutes, so it's really out there. Yeah. But I grew up listening to Elvis and all that stuff, and
That's awesome. And then so that those inspirations, you heard the King of Rock, as it is, and you said, that's an awesome dude, I'm going to be him? Or was it sort of a more subtle approach that you found yourself there?
It was more subtle in a way. I also because Elvis was a big thing that I listened to, but what really got me into playing music, my grandmother gave me a 70s rock CD, and the first song that was on there was All Right Now by Free.
Wow.
And that just said, I was 6 years old, and I'm like, Mom, I want to play guitar. So she's like, you got to wait a year. So for the longest time, I don't know if you know, for the fireplaces, it's kind of round and it has a stick, and you put the coal in there. I was pretending that was a guitar, and I would cut out cardboard and I would pretend listen to the track.
That's awesome. It's crazy that as a child, if we're not allowed to be creative, that you'll find a way to be creative. Whether it's doing that sort of thing, like hitting drums that are your sister or whatever. There's always a way to be creative. I remember when back in the day when I was a wee boy, I was so into racing. Surprising, you wouldn't think so. I was very into racing, and obviously I wasn't exactly the fastest kid by my physique. So I really like driving cars and stuff like that. So instead, I took it upon myself to ride carpets downstairs.
The safest endeavor.
Yes, I mean, if my mom heard that, she would freak out even today probably. But it was a really fun time. It's something. It's just one of those things. Kids will always find the way. That's what I'm trying to say. But more about you specifically. Right. You were part of Seneca, and how did you sort of come to meet a certain other person in this room, Attilio?
Hello.
So we met through the acting program.
Yeah, he's part of the in the September semester, so he was part of the group that I work for as a TA. So, and that's the meeting.
I wish you guys could have seen the friendship, the little hand gesture that just happened. But I think I just explained it pretty well for you.
Sure. It's open to interpretation. This is very much an audio-based medium. You can imagine whatever you want. It's a radio play.
Yeah, we might not be wearing pants.
Yeah, no. Pants are for people who have something to hide, so I don't like them.
Yeah. There's something a little bit special about today.
Is it?
About the person we're having on.
Yes.
And it's, although, a little bit sad, a little bit somber, I think it's something that we can talk about. And we were going to save this, but I want to bring it up.
Let's do it.
It's Johnny Cash's birthday.
Oh, yeah.
You're right? Mm-hmm. We all know Johnny Cash.
Yes.
I hope.
And
it's like, who? Is he related to Justin Bieber?
No.
I was in grade 5 or 6 when he died, and my dad was really upset that Johnny Cash had died. I was like, the guy from Mortal Kombat? Well, no, because that's Johnny Cage, and I was just a dumb kid. Yeah. But it had no effect. But now that I know who he is, Oh, that's unfortunate.
You knew characters in Mortal Kombat in grade 6?
I think I was, but yeah.
That's crazy.
If I was a kid, I wanted to. We're just detracting away from the topic.
No, it's fine.
Distracting, sorry, rather.
Yeah.
Words, where are they? But yeah, Johnny Cash, who, as I didn't know him until the movie came out with Joaquin Phoenix, and then I started listening to it. I was like, oh, this is rad. How did I miss out on this for the first, 14, 15 years of my life? And it's cool that there's still clearly an influence from him in musicians now.
It's true, and he was a genre defying artist.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't matter what a song's label was. It could have been metal, it could have been hip hop, whatever. He would see it as art and take it and interpret it in his own way. And I think that was one of the craziest things he did. His originals were amazing.
Yes.
Astonishing. You would listen to them and you could hear the melodramatic trembling in his throat as he sang, because it was so emotional to him. But on the other hand, he could also, like I was saying before, he would do songs that you would never imagine be played in such an emotional way, and he did. It was crazy. It was something that you've never really seen before. At least for me, I've never really seen an artist do that.
Are you referring to a particular song by a particular industrial musician?
I could be.
Hurt?
I mean, Hurt's great.
I thought that's what you were talking about.
There's a few, I think he's done like 4 or 5 covers of like different genres. I can't picture them all right now, but I know Hurt is one of them, obviously. But there's a few more. We don't need to get into the specifics. But it was crazy when he came out with the Ring of Fire.
Oh, yeah.
That was a great song. Oh my.
Yeah.
It was so powerful. I just remember the first time I heard it. Sadly to say, it was not a good time listening to it because I was a dumb high school student at the time, and I was playing Call of Duty 4. So picture this: a Call of Duty 4, like, teenager being. No, I wasn't actually a mad person, even growing up. But like, I was just like listening to it. I was like, man, this is real good. What is this? It's like, oh, this is Johnny Cash. What? What? I don't want to play Call of Duty anymore. I just wanted to listen to this, and I did. I literally stopped what I was doing, and I was like, I'm just listening to the album for the rest of the day.
Johnny Cash and violence.
No, seriously though, it was so groundbreaking. It was just like, this is great, and I've never had that experience quite as pivotal as that. Right. But I mean, there's still other great bands. I'm speaking to a great artist right now. Actually, 2 of them. As much as one.
Just him. No, I just noodle a bit. It's all him.
Tilly the Noodler, as we call him.
Yeah. I eat so much ramen. Anyways, we've gotten off course.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think this is something that we as musicians, we as artists, and just people, I think that this is a day that we should all look at some of his work, because I think even today we should be able to take something from it, right?
Oh, for sure.
Speaking of taking something from it, you yourself have done a cover of one of his songs.
Yes.
Yeah. And do you want to speak a little bit about that?
Yeah. Well, the song is "Home of the Blues," and that song spoke so much to me because it's interesting because it's just like. It's just like a place where what I got from it was like a place to mellow out to. It's like the place of the blues, right? It's like a place where you can weep.
Yeah, no, exactly.
From your sorrows.
Yeah, it's a place away from your troubles, and it's sort of, it's there for you. So, and then you took that and you made it something really good.
Thank you.
You should definitely look for it if you out there. We're going to be playing some of your work in the later, but definitely listen to that.
It was great too because I want to also how we're talking about before. So many people get influenced by him. Yeah, and there's a song also he did. God's Gonna Cut You Down, and I was a lot of my friends were shocked when I showed them because Kanye West was in there, Owen Wilson, all great actors and musicians were in there.
Wow.
It was just shocking, got goosebumps from watching it. So it's such a strong meaning,
Because he was one of those artists that no matter who you were, you knew him. It doesn't matter if you were Justin Bieber. It didn't matter, if you're Snoop Dogg. Clearly, you knew about him and you respected him just because he was that presence. He walked into a room and you listened, right? Yeah. It didn't matter if he wasn't saying a darn thing. You would listen to his silence instead of talking over him. Right? Oh, yeah. So I just, and I'm glad we got to talk about it. We might be, we'll talk a little bit more later. But for now, I want to bring it on back to yourself. When did you exactly find that the genre, because we talked about when you wanted to play music, but the genre is very specific. It's not something that everybody, I'm not going to say, you wouldn't think many people nowadays, because of electronica and, hip-hop and everything like that, it's to go out of your way to become a country musician. It's a great genre of music, but it's something that not everybody's going to be doing. So how did you find yourself ending up in that genre?
Do you want, I can start from the...
Go for it.
So really, like how I said before, when I got that 70s rock, how I got that, I was in a lot of rock bands and stuff growing up. And then I transitioned into country when I remember my grandfather gave me a Johnny Cash record. Oh. And yeah.
Speaking of which.
And I remember he put it on. He's just like, I want you just, because he knows I love rock and stuff. And he's like, well, I want you to check this out. And this was like when I was in, I forget the grade, but it was really young. Yeah. And I remember Walk the Line came on, and I'm just like, I love it. But I did listen to him early on too as a child, in my childhood. But I connected to him when I got a little bit more older. So it just connected with me in I got this feeling from it when I was listening to it, saying it was just such a big inspiration to me at the time, and it connected a lot to me.
That's crazy.
I felt.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. So that's when you sort of knew, when you heard that album specifically, that you wanted to become a country musician?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I mean, it makes sense. It's a very pivotal album, so there's nothing wrong with that, that's for sure.
I think also, if I may add in, I think it was the rebelliousness to it of like Johnny Cash. Like there was the Opry days, and then there's the parts where it was like, because when you were in the Grand Ole Opry, you had to do your hair, you had to do you had to wear the suits, and you had to be all clean shaved. And then there was that outlaw period where there's like, you know what, I don't care about that. I'm gonna wear leather and jean and get the electrics out and start playing. And that's what really got my attention as a kid. It's like, oh, you don't have to be part of this mainstream thing. You can do your own way, which Johnny really wanted you to be your own.
For sure. Yeah.
There's I'm about to start. There's like a thing about his music that I've always found was really interesting. There's always momentum in his music, if that makes sense. Like the beat, such as it is, which is a word that's been like taken out of a different meaning now. But like, it's just the music starts and it just keeps going, and his voice carries you through, and it's like I don't know how to phrase it exactly, but like it was a unique thing to him and his band that he played with, and from his own voice, from his throat, that like. The music pulled you along to the end of the song. You didn't get bored with it, even if it was just the same like through 3-4 bar thing over and over. It's just, I don't know. There's something.
There was no drop. There was there was no bass drop, or it was just a continuous build. It wasn't like this is the peak and now we're down here again, right?
Yeah. But like the Ring of Fire song, for example, it's the same music the entire way through, but it doesn't get stale. Like I just think it's an interesting thing as someone who plays music. Not necessarily a musician or an artist, but just as like a fan of the thing that is music. It's a really unique and still hasn't really been done by many people, if at all. That like it's just this guy and he's pulling you along, and it's like from start of whatever song it is. Maybe there's some that aren't so hot like it is with any artist, but like. It's just a cool. I don't know how to formulate my thought with words on this.
I think maybe it's because I look at a lot of people in certain ways. Certain people are followers. Certain people are leaders. And I definitely he is a leader. He could just speak and you would follow him, right? Yeah. And I think that it translated into music as well. He was a storyteller, and he was going to tell you the story, and you were going to listen. Yeah. It was not a question, right? That was the whole thing. Like I'm gonna sing, and you're gonna listen. And he had that outlaw-esque about him. He wasn't very like, hey, like it or not sort of thing, No, he's gonna play, right? So that was a crazy thing about him, and maybe that helps put what you were trying to say in towards maybe.
It was just a comment for me on like. the sound of him and his songs and his band. That was a really, like, you take any rock band that you could pick out, and they have to change up, from whatever verse to chorus, and has to change to keep you interested. Not with him.
No.
Maybe it was his voice. I don't know. All this is just to say that the fact that he's influencing a current artist 70 years later makes total sense. The guy was a legend.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever hear the story of how his voice got deeper?
No.
It was funny because he said he actually wrote a song called "Pick a Bale of Cotton," which is a cool, it was really jumpy, cool song. And back then he was saying he would go out to work and come back, and one day he worked so hard out in the field when he came back, he had this deep voice. So his mother was like, "Who's?" Because he was singing, and his mother was just like, "Who's that singing?" And he's like, "It's me, Mom." So it's such a cool thing.
I really like that because it's almost like a legend. It's not. It's a spoken word thing. It's not like I'm going on his Wikipedia and it's like, on this day he did this. He worked really hard, and now has a deep voice. It's like a Hercules-esque legend,
There's Don LaFontaine. This is a total digression. The Don LaFontaine, who was the In a World guy from the movie trailers. As he says it, his voice cracked one day as a kid, and it just dropped and never went back. Mid-sentence, his voice cracked and just never went back.
Yeah, actually, I just watched a documentary on him. Great guy. He's such a cool dude. I mean, he was he was a producer before he actually did voice work.
Nice.
And the story behind how he got into the voice acting world, the in the world, that sort of voice.
In the world.
Yeah. He's that person.
Oh, wow.
But he was a producer, and he was trying to find someone for that line, and the person never showed up. So so one of the other people in the room turned to him, and he's like, "You're gonna have to do it." And he did, and that made him. Yeah, exactly.
Just from
just one line. Wow. It's really interesting, and now everybody tries to copy him.
Yes.
You watch a movie trailer, it's in the world. It's that sort of thing, or I can't believe this is happening. This is summer. They all just want to be him. Hard name to pronounce though.
Don LaFontaine.
Yeah, that's the one.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what is that. I guess it's some kind of French.
Probably.
Or maybe that's just a horribly racist thing for me to have said.
No, it's not. Misunderstandings are it's fine.
We have gone off topic, and I apologize for that.
No. I think we talked about Johnny Cash and
a lot.
So as much as this is his day, we do want to talk about other things, about someone special here.
Yeah.
So we're not going to just talk about Johnny Cash.
Right.
Specifically, we were talking about this in our pre-interview, but you are a musician who does country, but you don't only just listen to country music.
That's correct.
And do you want to sort of talk a little bit about that? Because I think it's interesting and it helps people understand where your music comes from.
Well, for sure. I had both sides of the family, totally different music genres they would listen to. I listen, especially the music I listen to, I love blues, like Stevie Ray Vaughan. He's a legend, unbelievable. There's so much more. I can listen to literally anything. It's because there's so many of them that I listen to. I listen to Dr. Hook, which is a crazy band. Everyone's like, "What? Really?" It's like, yeah. I'm like, it's such awesome, great musicians. A cool thing that happened to me though, growing up, which I learned from this genre of music, was bluegrass. Because everyone's like, because you would normally assume that you listen to bluegrass if you listen to country, but it's totally different.
Right.
It's an older style. And I went to Tottenham, and I went inside this little bar, and there's these gentlemen playing, all these people.
Wow.
And they said, do you want to play? And I said, yeah, sure. And I started playing with them for a couple months, and then there was this big festival that happens in Tottenham. It's called the Tottenham Bluegrass Festival, and I got to play there.
Wow,
nice.
That's crazy.
And it was cool because I found out later on that Roseanne Cash, Johnny Cash's daughter, played there. So my mind was just blown. Like, what?
That's crazy. Yeah, she's actually a really good artist too.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
I've never. Is she also country?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Very much inspirational directly from her father. I couldn't imagine growing up in a home
Where it's it's influence,
that
Grace.
Yeah, if she turned out to be like a dubstep artist, it would be very strange.
Oh yeah.
I'm not going to say it would be a shame because do whatever you want sort of thing, but it would be very strange to hear.
A little bit, but maybe there's a blend of the two. No, there's a blend of the two, and it's the soundtrack to Bastion.
Oh yeah,
which is a fantastic. That's a whole other thing. Anyways, it's fine, but
we'll play some of their music one day.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah.
It's also interesting as well because my original music, because a lot of country music's written in standard tuning and all that stuff, but I love writing heavy metal tunings like drop C, C standard, all these different tunings, and I get this unique sound from doing so.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's very interesting.
Yeah.
Speaking of interesting sounds, do you want to? I have a song here that I really, really want to play for our audience.
Oh, sweet.
It's called "The Pain." Do you know anything about it?
Oh, a little. Oh yeah.
Where this song come from for you?
That song came. I had a discussion with someone one day, and I never really talked about a past problem that I had before.
Mm-hmm.
And so one day, this was a total, it wasn't a stranger, but it was someone that I recently met, and I felt I connected so much with that person that I just trusted telling them about what happened a long time ago, and
the result.
Yeah, the result. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play it for everybody here. Okay.
Oh boy.
All right. Here on Say Radio, the voice of Seneca College.
The pain, it always remains in the heart and soul. It will never drain. The shame you brought to the game. Look at yourself. Now I'm not the same. I pray to my Lord, so He shall take me home. The pain, oh, it burns like a flame, and it stains like acid rain. The pain, oh, insane, through my broken heart, no tears from the pain. I told the one that I trusted she was an angel, she was a saint. I said, how can I fix my pain? She looked at me and she explained. The pain, oh, it burns like a flame, and it stains like acid rain. The pain, oh, it stains through my broken
Oh boy.
Hey.
Hi.
While we were gone, we talked about a little something that was interesting. I do want to bring it up, and this is going to be a little bit forced, but bear with me. We just talked about how you, Claudio,
Yes.
you sold everything of entertainment that you owned so you could specifically work on music.
Yes.
What?
Explain.
Yeah. What? How did this happen, and what? Like, how's it been so far?
It's funny because as soon as I got home, I would jump on the PS3 or whatever, play Battlefield, or and just till like 12 o'clock at night, go to school in the morning, same thing. And I started to find that I started to be disparted, I guess you could say, from my music.
Right.
It didn't mean I wasn't playing guitar at all, because I would play, but I felt the video games were getting really addicting. And I said, you know what? I really want to make the commitment. I want to really improve my skill of guitar playing. And ever since then, my guitar level, like my guitar playing level has gone up more than it has. I'm not a guitar god by any means, but I'm not a Slash, but I'm
So you quit video games and then you leveled up your guitar playing, is what you're telling me. Exactly. That's really cool. And you mentioned this before, but the amount of hours you put in per day is pretty insane.
I've actually one time, like when I didn't go to school, because I didn't attend Seneca for about, because I finished high school like when you graduate in June.
Right.
So I joined in January, so I had that time off. And I remember I'd be playing for 8 hours a day.
Wow.
I remember one day I woke up at 8 and I turned off the amp at 11. Meanwhile, there was breaks. Like I ate, I drank, obviously to live, but I went back to the room.
That's crazy.
I would eat in my room.
There's actually, this is just coming to mind now. Right. But have you ever thought about like live streaming your practice? Because a lot of people are doing that nowadays.
I've done it once. I did a Waylon cover of Freedom to Stay.
Oh wow!
And it was really cool. I was surprised because I did it like just to. My mom was downstairs and she wanted to hear me play guitar and she was doing dishes, so I said, and I want all my friends and family to hear. And of course. It went a little bit like I was expecting maybe like 50 or whatever views, but it went up to I think like 600 or something like that.
Just 600.
Still, it's like lower compared to like the millions of views on.
No, but
still like for something that you didn't really expect.
Yeah. No, that's crazy. Yeah. And for something that like that inconsequential, like there's no downside to that.
Yeah.
So right. Other than like a little bit of bandwidth, maybe, but oh well. So that's really interesting. Yeah. No, that is very very cool. Because it's actually a trend been going on. There's places like YouTube, or not YouTube specifically, but actually YouTube's doing it now too. But sites like YouTube and Twitch, where people literally like there's a section for creative people, and there's this one person. He's called 8-Bit Drummer, and he streams all day live, and he takes requests to play songs, and he just learns the song as like throughout the day, right? That is his whole job, and he makes like good money doing it. So I mean, like there's definitely a place for learning your skill and at the same time making a little bit of money. Exactly. Just so you know, I mean, and this is very new. Like creative, even on YouTube's streaming service just went up last year. Twitch's creative section only went up a year and a half ago, I think. Right? Like it's very very new. So there hasn't been a solidified number of people. Like usually after a while, people like PewDiePie and Markiplier, they'll come up and they'll sort of, they are the standard, right? And then you have to reach that goal. But in the creative side, there hasn't been those people. Right. So I mean, like there's so much. I see people on the creative. I go to Twitch very often. I watch a lot of live streams, and there's people on the creative side, and they're literally making crafts. Oh, wow. They're just making jewelry and stuff and streaming it, and like not like I'm not going to say thousands of people watch them do it, but like hundreds, and hundreds of people just literally watching this person make a bracelet. Wow. Like that's very very interesting to me. It's a new form of entertainment that like you would never expect. It's just like it's something that's maybe a bit relaxing to them. You know,
Right.
and I think listening to music is the same way. Live music can do that to you, you know?
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, actually, it's funny because I did not know that YouTube had the live stream that
Yeah.
you could do.
It's a recent thing, yeah.
Wow, I didn't. That just blew my mind right now.
Yeah, definitely. So
There's-
maybe check that out. It would be definitely really interesting.
There's a band, guys that I know that I'm really hoping to have on at some point called Pyramid Theorem. They're a metal sort of rock band from Woodbridge, but the guitar player Sam, at one point when he was tracking for the new album they're working on, just put his phone on his desk and just recorded. He started, and it was like a 4 or 5 hour thing of him doing the parts for the album. It was the coolest thing. So there's definitely a viewership and a market for that.
Mm-hmm.
So absolutely, I mean, I'm not going to tell you what to do with your life. It's not my spot, but like at least give it a shot. At least if you're practicing or whatever, because people are going to be into it.
And and with anything, you know, like I've done some streaming as well. I think we both have.
I just started like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
and not even as a big thing.
There's
Just
never
to hang out.
Yeah, exactly. You always got to have that sort of attitude, especially on Twitch or YouTube Live. There's never a following right away, but you build the following slowly by like, you know, you find one person, you're really nice to them, and you chat because there's a chat, right? And you get along, and then when other people come in to see what it's all about, they see like, yo, this guy's like talking to this person. He's not just like doing his own thing, you know?
Right.
That's what I think Henrik said something along those lines too. Like when he was starting, there was him and like another person or two other people. And it was like, just, you know, talk with people. You can.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good time regardless. So, I mean, even if it's a small handful of you guys, you're hanging out. And it's a good time.
When I was, and we won't go into this too much, and you know, I don't want to talk too much about it. But when I was streaming, I did a lot of video game streams, and there's one person in particular from Finland who would always watch my streams, and he would get up no matter what time of day it was, you know, you'd watch him, and he was just super nice. He was a really good guy. Sadly, I had to stop because of school. The times I was streaming at were during school. Because of that, market wasn't exactly full, so I was like, that's the perfect time for me. And he would always go on, and he would always like bring his friends, and he'd be like, hey, let's hang out here. I was like, this is really cool, and I haven't talked to him for a little bit, but then recently I got a message from him being like, hey man, you ever gonna come back? I was like, I really want to, so yeah, maybe. You know, school's coming to an end, so you know, we'll see. So it's, you'll make connections anywhere, man. And it's crazy. It's crazy.
And who knows, maybe something cool will come of it. Or someone will see you practice, be like, I like that sound. You never know. You never know what's going to happen.
The possibilities are beyond imagination.
If you're reaching out to the world, who knows?
Yeah. Shout out to 8-Bit Gamer or 8-Bit Drummer though.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
He's listening to us right now.
Yeah.
No.
I found him. I don't even know how. I think I found him through YouTube because he uploads all the stuff to YouTube as well.
Right on.
And it was just like he was doing a cover of some weird song. Like it was one of those like meme songs. And he was just playing along to it, and he just like goes super hard at it. And like being a drummer, I was like, oh my god. It's just one of those things where it's, man, I wish I was that good. I could just like hear a song once and be like, I got it. You know?
Oh my god.
Oh, it's definitely something you got to practice.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Having been a drummer for most of my life.
And it is very improv. It's not like he literally gets every single note that's hit in the song.
Okay.
I think it's more like he'll play to the rhythm and fill a lot as well, right? So I mean, like that's another thing. But even being able to do that, following around with the feel of the song, is still very. And I'm sure you understand that too. As a guitarist, like you can hear a song and you can play along with it. You won't get everything though.
Exactly. It's funny that you mentioned that because that's a cool topic brought up just in my head. That when I first started, like when I remember at the time I told you I was playing with the cardboard and cutouts of guitars, my mom finally brought me to the city, which was like a 23-minute drive. Yeah. And we saw this music show. It was called Fun School Music.
Oh.
It was cool, yeah. And when we went in there, they would like want to try playing guitar. I said sure, and then again, I never touched the guitar in my life. And when I came out, the teacher looked at my mom and he's like, has he played guitar before? And she's like, no, it's the first time. He's like, he already learned the full song in a solo. And that was free all right now because I just knew, it was so weird. Like obviously there was a little like, I had to work on the finger.
But still.
It's for what it was.
Yeah. There's no way I could have done that. Were you?
No, I think it's interesting that like if you grow up with music, or I feel you have to kind of grow up with music in a way from being young for it to turn into that. sort of thing.
Yeah.
You can't be someone who just like in your teen years decides all of a sudden music is a part. I never understood how there are people who are not into it.
Yeah.
It just doesn't compute to me somehow. There's people who are like, it's fine, whatever. I how do you not have it in your life?
It's like, do you listen to music? It's like, what is that? It's like, this kind of artist.
I'm like, yeah, I listen to whatever's on the radio. It's like, no, though.
Do you like food? No, I synthesize my energy from the sun.
Oh. I don't know. It just seems weird to me that, like, because we all have grown up with music, and I feel like a lot of the people that I know have. But there's like, my sister's not big on it. We grew up in the same house. It's like, what's the? I don't know. I just don't understand where the separation is. Thinking of it kind of makes my head hurt. So I'm just gonna be quiet for a minute.
Oh, well, since you're going to be quiet for a minute, that gives me perfect time to do our very, very quick news segment of the day.
What's our Trump count at?
Our Trump count, the Trump index, if you don't know, I'll explain it until it's very, very engraved in your minds. The Trump index is the amount of news on Twitter on the front page. How many news stories are about Trump? Today's Trump index is 5.
Oh.
Very, very low compared to last week, which was 38.
Yeah.
Good or bad, like...
What happened?
We're moving along. I think we as a society might just be like, either we're having enough of it, or maybe it's just a little slow patch. Who knows?
I feel like it's just a slow. We got like another 4 years of it, so and that's as political as I'm willing to get.
Yeah, no, exactly. So we don't get too political on this broadcast, but the Trump index is important because that's when we know when other news tends to pop up.
Yes.
And speaking of other news, you did have something.
It's the Oscars tonight.
Whoa!
Which is an important thing. And I'm looking forward to seeing exactly how many La La Land rakes in.
What are the nominees?
I know it's La La Land. Lion is one of them, which I really want to watch.
The Lion King?
No, not that. Not The Lion King. And that's the thing. I work with actors. I've worked with actors for 3 years now, and I'm so out of touch with it. Maybe the Beauty and the Beast. Not Beauty and the Beast. Maybe the Jungle Book.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I can see it.
Definitely Captain Fantastic is going to be in there, I think. At least Vigo is.
Is he the cousin of Captain Planet?
He is not. He is not that at all. But yeah, it's a big night for the acting industry. It's the Oscars, so get hyped for that.
Yeah, when people say something, they say it's the Oscars of. Yeah. That's this night. Speaking of movies, we're all I tell you specifically, we watch a lot of movies.
I try to, yes.
Right, but are you into movies?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a big...
yeah, awesome. Is there any one in particular that you look to as, like, your favorite movie? I know it's a hard question. I know it's a very, very hard question. And I'm not talking about all around since childhood till now. Yeah. I'm talking about what's your favorite movie in the present.
I would say 100% hands down would be Ghost in the Darkness with Val Kilmer and Michael Douglas.
Really? That's crazy.
Oh yeah.
So that's like very interesting movie. Like I haven't seen it myself, but like I've heard people talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
But that's very interesting. Mine is a 50-50. Best movie ever.
Wow.
Yeah, I think we might have talked about it a little bit before.
Weekend, the week before as well, but it's worth it, man, if it's your favorite thing.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Watch it. If you haven't seen it, it's a really, really inspiring movie. It's just about like a man battling cancer, right? Wow. And that's where the name comes from, 50-50. It's a 50-50 chance that he'll survive. Yeah. Right.
Wow.
Which is really good, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Compared to different types of cancer, like that's an amazing chance.
Yeah.
Really. Like, and sadly, a lot of people don't have that chance. But in this scenario, it's 50-50, and no, it's breathtaking. Like I've cried, and I don't cry at a lot of movies.
It's a comedy.
Yeah. It's surprisingly a comedy,
yes.
But it's also very, very sentimental.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a very good movie. I watched it once, and that was enough.
Did you cry?
Yeah. At one very specific part where, not to spoil anything, but when JGL is about to get surgery done, and he's panicking. I was like,
you're making me tear up now. It's so emotional.
We can get rid of the gloomy atmosphere by saying my current favorite is Reservoir Dogs.
Oh, wow.
Which is not 50-50.
No,
in the slightest.
All right, we're back, boys. I haven't seen that movie for a very long time.
Dude, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's a very intelligent, which I think it's Tarantino's first or second movie. I don't know if it came before or after Pulp Fiction. But the interesting thing to me is that he sold the script to fund Reservoir Dogs. He sold the script to From Dusk Till Dawn. and sold it to whoever it was that ended up doing it. I think it was I don't know who it was, but he sold the script of that to make Reservoir Dogs on like a $90,000 or $100,000 budget with all this star power in it, and it's a solid movie. Like there's no not really any like flaws or faults to search for.
You mean the Fault in Our Stars?
I did not like that.
No.
No.
It just sounded like you said the name.
But pretentious teenagers in the movie wasn't into it.
Yeah. I'm going to commit to it now live on radio, but I want to say that is homework. You guys should watch all three 50-50 Reservoir Dogs and what was it?
The Ghost in Darkness.
The Ghost in the Darkness. That is homework. So I want to hear back from you on our Facebook page. Because those are three very, very, very different movies.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Right? So I think it's a widespread.
And you know it's reading week, so you may as well.
Exactly. Yeah. If you're in college, you have plenty of time. If you're in university, make time.
That's right.
Right? And I'm going to come back next week, and I hope you do it as well, Tillion, our next guest, and we'll try to give you another recommendation.
Well, it's just his one that I got to watch, because I haven't even heard of it, really.
Yeah,
I don't know what's it about.
It's funny, because a lot of people, when I say, have you seen that, they're like, no, and I go on. I personally don't like listening to critics or anything like that, because all the movies I love, they always put like at a 4 or 6 or something. I'm like, come on, I loved it.
Yeah.
And,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I'll have to watch it, because, like I said, I've only heard, it's a very cult following, I think. Like, it's one of those movies that not everybody loves, but, when people do like it, it's really, really cool. So definitely worth checking out. For our final part, we're going to talk a little bit about you. Why don't you give us some places where everybody can check you out?
Oh, well, I'm so far I got a website you can go to. It's www.cmroutlaws.com. You can also check me out on Facebook, Twitter, CMR Outlaw, or CMR Outlaws. The name, that's a whole thing, because the name got changed to CMR Outlaw. Yeah. It's being changed to CMR Outlaw. So the only thing that is still CMR Outlaws is my website, but everything else is CMR Outlaw.
That's true. Okay, so make sure you go check them out.
You got any shows coming up or anything like that?
I do actually, for Sick Kids Sick Kids Foundation, I'm playing March 4th. They actually haven't given me the date yet, because
is it the ABC charity concert?
Possibly,
because I think I'm filming that for my own freelance
thing.
Is that March 4th? Maybe. It might be, and I really hope so now, because I'd love to get excited about that project.
It's a big, it was funny how it was, my cousin, he knows someone, and he heard me, and he's like, you sound like Johnny Cash, and he's like, do you play, and he knows I play like Stevie Ray Vaughan and all that other stuff, and he's just like, we have to have you on the stage playing for them. And the kids will love it. And
yeah.
Like, why not?
So make sure you look out for that. Maybe you'll be able to find an update exactly when it is on his social media. So make sure you go check him out on Twitter at CMR_Outlaw on Twitter, or look up CMR Outlaw on Facebook. Make sure you go do that. Also, if you want to say something about a certain little CD of some sort.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's we are my Hive Studios, and we've been recording a CD for the little past. It's actually been a long time. Like we started 2014, and it's 2017 now.
Yes, it is.
Just mind blown from talking like that. But we've been, so right now we're recording the last song March 21st, if I'm not mistaken.
That's crazy.
And that's going to be we're doing it in volumes instead of different CDs, so it's going to be like CMR Volume 1.
Awesome.
So that's going to be out. Also, if you check my the media pages, I will have up.
Sweet. So make sure you do it. That's the only place you're going to be able to find this information. So make sure you go on the Twitter, make sure you go on the Facebook, and you give that follow. But for now, I'm going to play a song. It's called Home of the Blues.
Yeah.
Here on Say Radio, the voice of Seneca College.